Hello, and welcome to the Inflectra webinar for testing Microsoft Dynamics 365 for operations using the Rapise automated testing system. In this webinar, we're going to first of all be talking about why you would need to use Rapise to test Dynamics 365 for operations. We'll then move on to a practical demonstration of creating a new purchase order using the automated testing tool in recording mode. We'll then look at the tree of objects that were recorded and inspect their properties. We'll then discuss how you can add verification and checkpoints to check the data makes sense in the application. We'll then demonstrate how you can include automatic screenshot capturing of the test results and how you can expand your test to handle data-driven testing when you want to run the same purchase order through multiple different sets of data to check they work correctly. We'll then discuss how you can integrate Rapise with our SpiraTeam test management and application lifecycle management system. And after that, we'll have a Q&A.
All right, so hello everyone. So let's start our webinar. Why test Dynamics 365 for operations? Actually, reasons are pretty standard here. We need to test Dynamics 365 because Microsoft updates the platform pretty frequently. Independent vendors update their add-ons and integrations with other systems, as well as customers do local changes to their configuration of Dynamics. So this is a moving target, and we have to ensure that it behaves as we expected. So how to test Dynamics 365? Microsoft created a set of tools that help you to create unit tests for Dynamics 365. So you typically do this using X++ language in Visual Studio. And using this language, you can test server-side part of the application. You can access the database, you can access the forms. Microsoft created a few technologies for testing forms at the server side as well. So previously it was form adapters, which was for some reason abandoned in July, and now it is type providers. So you have to program to write unit tests for Dynamics, and you can test even UI with them. And also Microsoft provides a test recorder component with which you can record test cases, and then you can convert them to X++ unit tests and modify them in X++ and then create regression test coverage. So Microsoft tools are mainly designed for server-side execution. So it has a lot of obvious benefits. So most important of them are speed and stability. So when you execute something server-side, then it is executing fast and it is more or less stable. But what if our solution, our Dynamics, is integrated with some third-party graphical controls, graphical solutions? What if we need to do changes in some other systems before accessing data inside Dynamics? And what if we really want to test user experience at the client side? So actually, many things may really work at the server side, and unit tests will pass, but there may be really issues at the client side as well. So typically, in your testing project, you do a lot of unit tests with X++ and execute them frequently. They are fast and stable. And you do also a small portion of your test coverage, integration testing and end-to-end testing using Rapise. So this is what we recommend. You really need to test the client-side experience as well. you should not implement every test case at the end-to-end level or at the integration level, but you really need to do tests in those levels as well. So with Rapise, you get a tool which is lightweight. The installer of Rapise is 100 megabytes. It's very easy to download to any host and install there. And after you install Rapise, you are all set. So you don't need to do any additional configurations. You can just open your browser and start recording tests for Dynamics 365. Also, Rapise is a feature-rich solution, so you get not only recording of scenarios against Dynamics 365, you also get facilities to read and write spreadsheets, work with the file system. You can test network protocols like SOAP and REST if you need to access some third-party systems. You also can automate browser, desktop applications, a lot of things, and you get very sophisticated reporting. And it is very easy to add special support for custom controls for your graphical components with Rapise. If something is not supported at the X++ level by Microsoft, then you can do nothing with this. And they know nothing about your special components. And with Rapise, you can add support for custom controls very easily. So let's look at Rapise and see what you can do with it. So first, I'm going to show you how you can record a test case with Rapise. So I have a Dynamics 365 opened inside Chrome browser. Here is Rapise opened. This is a Windows application. So, and I'm going to create a new test. So I'm selecting a new test. And at this time, I'm going to create my test locally on the local machine. And let me give it some name. And since Dynamics is a web-based application, so I need to choose web cross-browser testing support. Besides that, Rapise also supports testing mobile applications, desktop applications, and also using Rapise, you can perform manual testing as well. So you shouldn't automate every your step. You can start from manual tests, for example, and then automate some steps to make life of manual tester easier. So I'm selecting cross-browser testing support here. Selecting the browser that I will be using for recording. And also in Rapise, you can work with your test logic using Rapise Visual Language, which is a spreadsheet-based approach. And also you can program in JavaScript. So for this session, I will choose RVL. Here is an empty test created. And now I'm going to record a few interactions with Dynamics. So I click record button. And in the bottom right corner, you can see recording activity dialog. And it will show all actions captured by Rapise while I will be interacting with the application. So I am going to search. Enter what the page I want to open. And in the recording activity, you can see that my actions were captured. I clicked on the search and I also perform a search of a particular value. So there are actions that can be automatically captured, which you don't want. You can delete them after the recording session. So next, I click on the new button to open purchase order dialog. Then I open the drop down and select the vendor. And you can see that Rapise detected the click in the table, and it understood the click in the grid as a click on a test vendor value inside vendor account column. So if anything changes inside Dynamics in your data set, and the value is not second in this grid anymore, and Rapise during playback anyway will find this value. Also, the set of columns in the grid may change, and the vendor account column may not be at the original position. It may have different index during playback. Anyway, Rapise will find it. So let's collapse the vendor page and go to the site. I need to choose the site, warehouse, and then I need to click OK in this dialog. So this button is under recording activity dialog, so I'm pressing pause to stop intercepting mouse and keyboard, moving this dialog to some other place, resume, and press OK. Okay, so let's move this dialog back. And let me collapse the header section. And now I'm going to add a few lines to my purchase order. So I expand item number, cell, and select a product, an item. And you see here that Rapise captured that I clicked on the row 0. We did not have any value there, so this is why Rapise recorded this using index form. Let's add a new line here. Expand again. Click on another item. Okay, so we have 2 lines in our purchase order. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to close to put the system into initial state. Okay, so I finished recording, so I press finish button. Here is Rapise asking me where to insert recorded steps. Let's insert them here. So RVL is pretty straightforward and simple. So it has several predefined columns, and in those columns you see what object we need to find to perform a particular action. And if we need to pass some parameters to a particular action, then we have an opportunity to specify those parameters. So unlike in programming languages like JavaScript, you don't have to bother with quotes or parentheses or anything like that here. So you just open the drop downs and select the values that you want. So you open drop down with a list of objects that Rapise captured during recording. Then you open the drop down with the actions that can be applied to this object, and you specify parameter values. So on the left side of Rapise, there is an object tree here. And here in the object tree, you can see all objects with which I interacted during recording. What is object inside Rapise? Actually, this is a pair. This is a locator which is used at runtime at playback to find this object in the application, and the type of this object which defines which actions can we apply to this object, what we can do with it, click or enter text or anything else, expand, collapse, and also the set of properties that we can read from this object. So we can determine its coordinates, text that is written inside, all that stuff. So let me actually remove some lines that we don't need, that were automatically recorded. So I delete those body clicks, we don't need them. And now I'm going to execute my test. So I have a test, let's run it. So since it does not have any sophisticated synchronization, then it may fail at some point, or hopefully not. So let's see. So Rapise just repeats what I did during recording. The connection is pretty fast, so it works as we expected. And after execution has been completed, you can see a report with each statement that was executed. If there is a problem with execution of the statement, then it will be highlighted in red. So we recorded a very simple test. And when you perform testing, you not only record and execute steps, you also want to verify system state at some point. That, for example, you see a particular text or value on the screen. So let's execute just part of our test and stop at the moment when we created a new purchase order. So we created it when we pressed OK button. So let me select only lines that I want to execute, and I can do play selection. And on the page, when I created the purchase order, I want to verify that the number of this order is present on screen. So, and I will show you in a few moments how to do this. Okay, so in the left top corner, you can see here the ID of the purchase order. So in Rapise, let's start a new recording session. I press record. And in the recording activity dialog, you can see this verify button. So I can click on this button and click on an item in the application, and Rapise shows me the list of properties of this object. And I, for example, can verify that the inner text of this object contains some specific text. So I'm pressing OK, and verification statement is generated by Rapise automatically. So I press finish. Insert here. And here is the verification statement. So it asserts that the text that we see during playback matches the particular value which is defined here. So let's execute this statement. So verification was successful because the number that we expected is what we need. So let's change expected value here to some other value, for example, 164, and execute this part again. And this time we should get a failure because we hit some unexpected situation. So let's go here and we see that we expected 164 and we got 163. So this is how you do verification with Rapise. Also, when you execute the code, the test, you have some options that you can adjust in the settings. One useful option is to stop on error. If there is an error during execution, in many cases, you don't want to proceed and execute on subsequent steps. And in many cases, you want to capture screenshots during execution to analyze the reason of test failure. So let's set capture execution to true. And let's set that we want to include those screenshots into report. And let me execute the test once again. And this time, during execution, Rapise will be capturing screenshots that will be automatically included into report. Also, you have an option either to make a screenshot of the whole window or just of the control that you are interacting with. In some cases, it may save some disk space when you execute tests a lot of times. So if you are concerned with this, you have a choice. Okay, and the test should fail, I guess. Yes, because the object which we verified at the end of the test was not already present on the screen. So this is okay. And after each step, we now have a line with a screenshot. And also there is a combined generated page with a screen flow, which you can open and see how the test was executed. So you have a snapshot of each step. Okay. Let me close it. So after you recorded a test case, actually you typically don't stop at this point. And in many cases, you want to make your test data-driven. So you want to get some values, for example, order lines that you want to insert into the purchase order. You want to get them from some external spreadsheet or from some table. So let me open another test which I created before, which already has some data-driven capabilities, and I will show you how it looks like. So Rapise have several ways how you can get data values. So for example, here I have a test which has a table of values defined right inside RVL spreadsheet. So here I defined which products should be included into my order. And then in RVL, I have a loop which iterates through this table and gets values from it. Also, there is a way to put all the data inside external spreadsheet completely and attach to this spreadsheet from Rapise test as well. So let me show you how this test works. So it should add 4 lines into purchase order. So while it is executing, let me quickly repeat what I just showed inside Rapise. So I showed how to record a test scenario, how to add some verification statements into it, how to capture screenshots to analyze test failures if they occur. And also right now I'm showing how you can do data-driven test in OP. So you can define logic in RVL or in JavaScript, and you can have all your data in a spreadsheet, which you can read inside Rapise. Okay, so execution was successful, and we added the order, and also my test contains a few verifications that the order was created successfully. So when you have a test, typically you don't have just one test. You probably have many tests that you want to execute on some regular basis, for example, nightly. And to do this, you can use Rapise together with some unit testing tools like NUnit, MBUnit, or Visual Studio Team System. You can integrate with them and launch Rapise with them. And also Rapise is integrated with SpiraTeam. SpiraTeam is another tool from Inflectra. This is the application lifecycle management solution. So using SpiraTeam, you can track incidents, tasks, you can plan projects, and also, which is more important for us today, you can perform test planning and execution using SpiraTeam. This is a web-based system. So let me create a test case inside SpiraTeam. So I will show you how it is integrated in Rapise. So I'm going to the list of test cases, and I'm creating a new test case. Give some name to it. Create purchase order second. Okay, so test case was created. Let's return to the test which we just recorded in the first part of this webinar. And what I'm going to do is to save this test into SpiraTeam. Saving to SpiraTeam means that all files of this test will be uploaded to SpiraTeam, and the test itself will be linked to the test case which we just created. So here I select my test case, create a purchase order second, and press Save Synchronize button. And now everything will be uploaded into SpiraTeam. So while it is uploading, let's return to SpiraTeam. So typically you arrange test cases into test sets to execute several test cases one after another. Let's go to the test sets and create a new test set. So let's name it advanced. And we go into this test set, and first we need to select which test cases should be executed with this test set. So I'm going to the table of test cases, press that button. I see available test cases, and I add my create PO2 test case. Okay, and the last thing I need to do with the test set is I want to say that it is an automated test set, and that I want to execute it on a host with the name, with this name, BMW1, and I want to schedule it to be executed. To execute it right now, I will set some date in the past to make it overdue. I'm setting yesterday's value, and I save it. And on this host, I have a special component running in the background. It is called Rapise launcher. This component is constantly monitoring SpiraTeam for jobs to execute. And now you can see that it detected that I have a test set in SpiraTeam that was scheduled for execution. And now Rapise launcher downloaded all the files to the local system. And now it is executing the test. So what you can do with this setup is you can create tests on one machine, save them to Spira, then you can have some integration server where you run your test cases nightly, and you can schedule execution on that host using SpiraTeam. And after all tests are executed there, you get the reports back into SpiraTeam, so you can see how test cases were executing using web interface. So let's return to SpiraTeam, and let's go to test runs tab here, refresh. Okay, so and we see here that the test that we just executed, it failed. And let's click on it. And here we can see the same report like we saw in Rapise with every step that was executed and with screenshots. And if a test failed, we can see, if a step failed, we can see its status here. So let's scroll down. Okay, so we see that the test failed because we wanted to find the ID of the new purchase order, and this object was not found because it was not displayed on the screen, because we really need to move this verification upper inside our test. So using SpiraTeam, you can also pass parameters to Rapise if you want. So you can define different configurations, and you can pass data and configuration parameters right from your test sets to Rapise. So you can perform a configuration of your test coverage right from SpiraTeam. So I finished the presentation, and we can now proceed to Q&A section.
Thanks so much for watching today's webinar. I hope it was helpful. If you'd like to learn more about automated testing, please go to our YouTube channel and click subscribe. Thanks so much.